where it says fresh produce directly to the left?
Left of that, yes. They're at the pole there.
So from what I understand, you're living over there at the Waters Park Apartments, you were saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And this incident happened kind of close to there?
Yes.
Okay. What was going on tonight? Were you out earlier in the night doing something?
Because I got out at home and I had taken some drugs.
Okay. What kind of drugs?
I had taken a Xanax.
Is that something that you normally take at night?
No, I've done it 2 or 3 times.
Okay, was this with like a roommate or a group of people, or was it just you on your own?
It was me on my own.
Okay. And how big was the Xanax, I guess?
4 bars.
4 bars? Is that, when you have taken it before, is that a normal amount?
Yeah. I just did take about 2 bars.
Oh, you normally take 2.
So it's a little bit more than usual.
What time was that around?
Well, I thought it was 11 p.m., so I don't know, like 9 p.m.
9 p.m.? Okay. And then what happened?
And then I decided to go on a ride on my motorcycle. I was thinking very clearly, and went to the Wal-Mart, and I decided to shoplift a bunch of items. And on the way out, a cop saw me, and I panicked, and then I pulled my gun out and shot him.
Okay. What kind of gun?
It was 380.
380? Is that something you normally carry on you?
From time to time, because I've gotten threats before.
Threats?
I've worked as an informant in different situations
For
Douglas County in Colorado.
Tecos? Tecos, is that what you said, county?
Douglas County.
Douglas County, okay. So because of some past things that have come up with being an informant or past situations in Colorado, you began carrying a 380?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you've lived here for about a year and a half?
For about a year and a half. I also I worked for Larimer County Drug Task Force.
Larimer?
Both.
Okay, and is that in Colorado as well?
Correct.
Is that as an informant?
Yes, ma'am.
Larimer County and then Douglas County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you're not wanted out of Colorado?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you left under good standing in Colorado?
Yes, ma'am.
So you did you were an informant, everything was fine, and then you just got a job here, so you came here?
Yes, I brought down one drug dealer who has been a major drug dealer for a decade almost, and apparently it was a fairly big bust.
In Colorado?
In Colorado.
Okay, and then they wanted you to get out of town because of it, or what?
Yeah, well, I was about to graduate from college, and then I got a job offer here in Austin. The Xanax makes you lose your memory really badly, and from then I took the bike out.
And you're talking about a motorcycle?
Motorcycle,
Okay.
correct.
What kind of motorcycle do you have?
It's a Kawasaki ZX-10.
And where did you go? Where did you ride to?
First I just rode around, and then I saw Wal-Mart. And
Just the Walmart, like right at Palmer and 35, or which Walmart are we talking about?
shoot. I didn't have to it was Wal-Mart 35.
I mean, did you go like a great distance when you were driving? Or?
I did go a great distance, but I circled around some, and it's very difficult to piece it together.
Okay. But it was a Walmart, and you kind of circled back, and it might have been near your residence somewhere?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know what time you got there?
It's hard to recall. 8 or 8:30.
Was it just gotten dark?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what did you do in the Walmart?
In the Walmart, I went in and looked for things that I needed. I got them all in bags. I had a backpack with me. Then when I saw that there were no cameras, I put them in the back of my backpack.
You put them in like the Walmart bags, and then you put those bags in your backpack?
Yes. And then I proceeded to walk out. When I walked out, I saw one officer and one plainly clothed loss prevention associate. The officer told me to stop, and I knew what he was after. And I had a .380 in my pocket, so I figured that the consequences might be worse. So I ran. The cop grabbed me, and I turned around and shot him.
Okay, so you had the gun in like a front pocket, or
Front pocket.
like the right or the left?
The right pocket.
So you just plainly carry it, like just hide it in the pocket?
Yes.
Okay, and then you're talking about these pants that you're wearing now?
These pants I wear now.
Okay, so in the right front pocket?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you came out of one of the main doors at the Walmart?
Yes, ma'am.
So they were kind of just sitting there talking? The officer and the loss prevention guy?
They were eyeballing me, so they knew that they were going to confront me.
And the officer said, what in your words?
The officer said, will you please step next to me? Will you please follow me? And then I took off running.
Just any particular direction, or?
I went towards the exit.
Okay, so this was still inside the store?
Yes, ma'am.
They kind of approached you before you hit those doors to go outside?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the officer says, please, come over here, please step aside with me over here, and you were just...
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how far did you get when you were running?
4 or 5 feet.
And then, what did the officer do?
He grabbed me, and I turned around and I saw his face, and I shot him.
He just grabbed you from behind?
He grabbed my arm, but my right arm was loose, and that's the one that had the gun.
So you grabbed your left arm?
He grabbed my left arm and shoulder.
Okay, so you're running and he grabbed it like up here?
Yes, ma'am.
And you kind of turned?
So I turned around, yes.
But this hand was already free, the right hand?
That one was free, and once he started to talk to me, I had my hands in my pocket, ready to go.
So the minute you saw him, you were kind of like, oh, I know where this is going.
Well,
The two guys talking.
Well, I figured if I could escape, then I would have avoided the situation, but yes, premeditated, whatever.
Okay. Knowing you had a gun on you and everything, you were just like, oh, I need to get out of here because this charge is going to be even worse.
Correct.
So while they were kind of confronting you, you put your hand in your right pocket.
Correct.
Okay. And then while you were fleeing, you kind of just kept your hand in, or did you pull the gun out right away? Or...
Well, that's the thing, I pulled it out right away.
And we're talking 4 or 5 steps.
Yes, ma'am.
So then he gets the shoulder, and when you turn, his face is kind of like right there.
Yes, it was kind of a jumble until I turned around and I saw a clear shot at his face. And
So then the gun's in your right hand.
Yes, ma'am.
And then did you pull it up, or shoot it from your hip, or
I pulled it up directly to his face.
right to his face?
Correct.
How far away were you from like me to you right now with my hand? How far away?
That's about the perfect distance.
From you to him.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you shot him.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, where did you shoot him?
It was hard to tell, but I believe square in the face.
Square in the face?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times did you fire?
1.
And then what happened?
And then the other officers tackled me, and it was over.
there was more than one uniform officer, or are you talking about like the loss prevention officer?
I believe it was loss prevention. All I saw was one officer who was down.
One officer was down?
One officer who I shot was down. He had blood on his face.
And then you got tackled?
Yeah.
There's, you did you remember somebody in uniform tackling you, or just somebody tackling you?
Just tackled, and then it was kind of a blur at that point.
Mm-hmm. And, how do you feel about what happened?
I feel like my life's over.
And was your 380, was it loaded completely to capacity?
It was fully loaded with one in the chamber.
Is that how you taught?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that how you normally carry it?
That's not how I normally carry it, but when I went into the store, I didn't want to be, cocking it if something was going to happen,
So you just got it ready just in case?
I got it ready, yeah.
Okay, so you're pretty much ready to go from the beginning. I mean, you went over there, you had the intention of shoplifting?
I had the intention of shoplifting. I did not have the intention of shooting anybody.
You got the gun ready just in case there was an issue?
I got, correct.
Okay. And how do you feel, like right now as we're talking, how do you feel about shooting that cop?
I feel horrible. I feel like life is over. I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, do you feel horrible for yourself because your life is over?
I feel very bad for the officer who was doing his job and has kids, and I saw his face, and
What did his face look like when you saw it?
there was blood coming out. There's blood coming out of his eyes and his mouth and stuff.
Was he saying anything?
He was gurgling.
And when you first saw him, when he turned around and he turned to you, did he say anything to you at that point?
I don't think he could see anything. He could just barely gurgle.
This is when you saw him on the ground?
Yes.
Okay. When you ran your 4 or 5 steps, and he got, kind of grabbed your shoulder and you turned around, did he have time to say something to you? Did he get anything out? Did you hear him yelling at you while you were kind of taking your steps to run away?
When I first ran, he said, "I'm a cop." And then there was 4 steps where 3 or 4 people were screaming, and I couldn't decipher who said which.
And what, say the 3 or 4 people who were screaming, what were they screaming?
They were screaming, "Stop, this is loss prevention, lost police, or this is police officers," and things like that.
Okay, so he said, "I want you to step over here, blah, 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 blah," and then when he turned to run, he said, "I'm a cop."
Yes, ma'am.
Did you get Russell to the ground, or did it just went from when you shot him, or what?
I think it's from when I shot him.
Okay, so when you shot him, there was a amount that came back onto you.
Yes.
Okay. And then the distance that we portrayed earlier was a pretty accurate distance of how far away you were.
It was about 1 foot or so.
The guy that tackled you, did he say anything?
I think there was 2 or 3 people who tackled me, and they just said, just you're an idiot, and hold still and things.
Were you fighting still?
I wasn't fighting at all.
Okay. Were they telling you to hold still for any particular reason, or were they just saying it to say it?
I think they were just making sure I knew.
Where did I know you're saying that this all happened really quickly, and I understand that. I mean, you turn and you shoot, and the blood and the tackle, where did the gun go?
The gun, I must have dropped it right after I shot him.
Do you consciously remember that, or you just believe that that's what you did?
That's what I believe.
Okay.
I don't have it with me, so I'm not sure where it is.
You shot and then right away tackle and something happened.
And then, yeah, it was a froze on my face with 4 people on me.
We're going to get somebody to come out and, take some photographs and obviously collect some of the evidence from your person, okay? You have a lot of blood on you, obviously, we're talking about it, it's from the officer. We just want to make sure that we document everything, okay? Is there anything else? Do you have any injuries on you?
I do not.
Are you injured in any way?
No, absolutely.
What?
No, man.
No, okay. And your shoe is?
I'm missing that shoe, I don't know where it is, but I don't know if it's blood there either.
Okay. And then the sweatshirt?
Sweatshirt has blood on it.
Okay. Jeez. And your hands had some?
So,
Yes. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna go make sure that that particular person's en route. It's a civilian who just comes and takes pictures and is kind of a crime scene person. And then I'll just make sure that we don't have any other questions for you. We might go through things again. Okay, so we just want to make sure that we have everything. Is there anything that you want to say? Or that you want somebody to understand while we're sitting here talking?
I do want to say that I remember parts and pieces of it because I was on drugs, and that's all I want to say.
Okay.
Next step.
The next step we're going to have, like I said, we're going to have the crime scene person come in and process, take photos of you and process everything. And then, from there, you'd be transported over to the Travis County jail, okay?
Okay.
But I will be right back with you. Is there anything you need in the meantime, any water or anything like that?
No, thanks.
Okay.
And following that silence, what did you observe in the day room?
Following the silence, they began watching, and about a couple minutes after the news completed, they began applauding for Emmett Daniel. Shortly after the applaud and recognition, Emmett Daniel took a bow in front of everybody.
And after Mr. Daniel took a bow, what happened next?
One of the inmates that was in the day room screamed out the police, and Emmett Daniel acknowledged him by raising his fist in the air.
Kind of just similar to what you just demonstrated?
Yes, sir.
Just to be clear, it wasn't Mr. Daniel who yelled?
No, it was not Mr. Daniel who yelled that. It was another inmate who was unidentified. Daniel was right here playing cards, and you can see him standing right there. Right now, they're being applauding. That's where he takes a bow right there. But right now is when something notices it, and you'll see him shakes his once in the air. Right about there.
Right there with his left hand?
Yes, sir.
Brandon Daniel, the jury having found you guilty of the capital murder of Honey Padron and having returned a unanimous verdict to Special Issues 1 and 2, this court hereby sentences you to death by lethal injection. It is therefore the order, judgment, and decree of this court that you will be remanded to the custody of the Travis County Sheriff to be delivered to the Institutional Division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, where you shall be continuously confined until 6 p.m. on a future date, to be determined when the proper authorities will administer lethal injection sufficient to cause your death. You may now be seated. Sentence has now been formally pronounced under provisions of our law. Are there victims that wish allocution at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed.